Hola, my name is Mr. Chippy and I am the Head of Languages here at the Reach Free School. This is just a quick video to explain to you what your child learns at Key Stage 3 in Spanish and how you can support them at home. First of all, here's an example of a quick activity that we might do in Spanish lessons. It's all about conjugating verbs in the present tense, which is super important. So what I'd like you to try to remember how to do or to figure out is to conjugate 3 verbs in Spanish. So how can you say I drink, we sing, and they write? To help you have 3 infinitives: cantar, which means to sing, beber, which means to drink, and escribir, which means to write. And then you have a verb table here, which you will need to figure out the answers, which we will go through at the end of the video. However, here's what we cover in Year 7. The most important thing I'd like to say is that it doesn't matter if your child learnt Spanish before at primary school, if they learnt another foreign language, maybe French or German, or if they haven't learnt a language at all. By the end of the autumn term, by December time, everyone would have caught up and be at the same level. In Year 7, we cover basic things, how to give their basic information, such as their name, age, numbers, talk about their free time, their hobbies, school subjects, their family and friends, and their home and town as well. And in November, December time, they are introduced to the present tense. In Year 8, it gets a bit more complicated. So on top of the present tense, pupils are introduced to the future tense and the past tense as well. And they learn things to do with technology, so TV programs, types of music, things they can do on their phone, food and drink, holidays, and activities that they can do in the summer. Here are some examples of some outstanding work from our pupils in Spanish. They're very similar. The books are very similar to most other subjects with a couple of bits of difference. We have the date written in Spanish to help pupils remember the days of the week, the months, and the numbers. We have lots and lots of purple pen where pupils mark their own work, because we have lots of little activities in Spanish, lots of match-up activities and things like that. We also have something called a reto. Reto means challenge in Spanish. So for every activity, we have a challenge activity. So if pupils have finished or have found it a bit easy, they can do something a bit more challenging and difficult, and that will get them lots and lots of reach points. All pupils have to learn some vocabulary in Spanish, and every pupil in the school learning Spanish has a Quizlet account. It's an online platform whereby pupils can learn the words online rather than having to write them out in a vocabulary book or something like that. It's all online these days, which is very good. Pupils are quizzed on these words in the first lesson of each week. So normally it's on a Monday or a Tuesday. It's a 5-10 minute quiz to help them to remember the words that they've learnt. They are set these words to learn as homework on a weekly basis. Occasionally, maybe once or twice a half term, pupils will have an extra task to do for homework. It could be a revise for an assessment. It could be a listening task, a reading task, or a writing task as well. Typically in Year 7, the sets are about 10 to 15 words long. That might change slightly week to week. Year 8, it's maybe 5 more, so 15 to 20 words. So Quizlet is the online platform through which we learn vocabulary. So your child will have a Quizlet account and their class will look like this. They will have a classroom name linked to their form, most likely in Year 7 or Year 8. So it should say something maybe like 7 Calpurnia, and then the initials of their Spanish teacher. And they will have a number of sets placed in there. Each Spanish teacher will set on Google Classroom a Quizlet set for pupils to complete. So that's the vocab that they need to learn. And they have 7 activities that they can complete on Quizlet. The first one is called Learn, which we obviously recommend as it helps them to learn the words. Flashcards are good in case pupils have forgotten maybe 1 or 2 words and they want to quickly go back and check. Write helps to practice their spelling. Spell is a good one because it helps pupils practice their listening activities. The computer will say the word aloud and pupils have to spell the word. Test the pupils on their knowledge of the word. And 2 games here, Match and Gravity, a bit more interactive and a fun way of learning the words. But Learn is by far and away the most important one for pupils to complete. How you can help your child at home. So being supportive, encouraging towards language learning, especially in their learning of vocabulary, would be fantastic. So if you could maybe test your child on the words they need to learn each week, make sure they're doing their Quizlet work at home, and when they are at the position where they need to know their present tense, past tense, or future tense, it'd be really helpful if you could help them with their verb conjugations. They're so important when you learn a language. We often compare them to, for example, in maths, you have the times tables. Here we have our verb tables. They really are that important. We also have an activity called lyrics training, which is a great way to practice listening skills. There are 4 skills in Spanish. We have reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And listening, not just in this school, but nationally, is always seen as the most challenging of the 4 skills for pupils to do. I'm sure you'd agree that you might find people speaking Spanish very, very quickly compared to English. And this helps pupils get used to the pace of the language. They have to listen to Spanish pop songs set by a teacher each week, and they will have to watch the video, and then a bit like karaoke here, but there'll be some gaps. They have to listen for the correct word and click on the correct word for each gap. The answer to the verb conjugations question that I set at the beginning is to say I drink is bebo, to say we sing is cantamos, and they write is escriben. What you have to do is you have your infinitives here. You have to take off the last 2 letters, so either the AR, ER, or IR. So in the case of bebo, for I drink, you take off the ER. Then you use your verb table. So we have the I here, and we go across to ER. The ending is O. We put the 2 together, and we make bebo. Eventually, pupils need to know this table in their heads. They won't be able to have it in front of them in a test. That information, like times tables, needs to go into pupils' heads. Here we have some quick links where to help your son or daughter in Spanish. The first one is Word Reference, which is an online dictionary. It's far more accurate than Google Translate. So please, we always recommend they use Word Reference if they need to look up a word. Quizlet, I've already explained, is for vocabulary. Google Classroom is where we post lesson slides, any key messages, and set homework tasks. Languages Online and Conjuguemos are very good for grammar activities. BBC Languages has lots of videos to help you with their listening skills as well. Lyrics training, as I have explained, is very good for listening activities as well. We also use Oak Academy, the online platform where there are a series of lessons on a number of topics for pupils to complete. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful for the teaching of Spanish at the Reach Free School.